Oh, this is perfect. You got to understand how perfect this is. There's this video that was recorded by this young Asian guy. I wonder, maybe you've seen it. Are you on YouTube at all? Have you seen the video by the Asian guy, What Are We Doing to White People? Have you heard of it?
Whatever Asian guys do to white people?
No, just in general. What are we doing to white people? This Asian guy did a video.
I don't know.
Well,
this Asian
guy did a video.
Let's talk about it. No, he's saying that as a joke, but he may actually have some feelings.
No, I don't quite find.
This Asian gentleman did this video about.
Time to talk about it, bro.
Well, this Asian guy did this video about just in terms of how much things have shifted and changed. So what we're going to acknowledge, we're not going to act like, well, I want us to define racism, but his point was that if you look at the way that some white people are treated nowadays, there are things that are being said to white people that you couldn't get away with saying to other races.
Really? Oh, like what?
As a white guy, go ahead, man.
I have a couple examples. Let me just catch these guys up. What are we doing to white people? Is this Asian gentleman talking about, he feels like nowadays things have changed to where people feel comfortable being racist towards white people. Just sit with it, let it marinate.
Okay.
There's been something going on for a while now that we're being told not to notice. More to the point, that we're asking white people not only to ignore, but to accept. The rising tide of racial hatred against white people. In the past decade, there has been a noticeable cultural shift in what constitutes acceptable speech as it relates to white people. Back when I was a kid, in the early 2000s, the mainstream American culture preached about respecting each other's differences and not seeing color. Nowadays, we say that not seeing color is racism, that you must see color. But the more I see how things are unfolding, the more I'm convinced that this is wrong. Back then, saying something offhanded about white people were seen as not appropriate, just as it would be to say something offhanded about people of any other race. But that soon gave way to our current times, in which there exists virtually no limit to what racial minorities can and do say about white people.
How would you define racism, and have you ever experienced racism?
Have I ever experienced racism?
Yeah.
Yeah, but kind of good.
How do you define it,
How do I define it?
and how have you ever experienced it?
Actually, you know what? I was just talking about this today. It's funny you bring that up. So yesterday, walking my dog, and I was walking up past this truck where I seen the lady go in her truck. And as I was getting close, I heard the door lock. Okay? Now, I could have took it personal.
Yeah.
Okay? 'Cause this is the problem I think with racism. Is we feed into it too much. And we start blaming other people for things, okay?
And even maybe expecting it.
So here's my thing now. Okay, so that happened. I walked by, felt like she closed the door because I walked by. Why do I feel like that? Why
Yeah.
should I even think that?
Yeah.
Maybe she felt nervous, and she's allowed to feel like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel nervous walking down
What
around
were
the
the
street.
indicators that you felt responsible?
Right. And I shouldn't. Why should I feel
But there
that?
must have been something
And why am I
that you're
gonna blame
thinking of
her?
it now.
Right. Well,
So
that's
what
I'm
was the
saying.
indicators that made you feel responsible?
Because I know, what's it called?
Prejudice?
Patterns, okay? So people's patterns and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What we've been taught, right?
Yeah.
Bingo.
And it's just like I said, if I walk down the street and I see someone that's looking crazy, I'm going to be like, yo, I got to keep an eye on this guy because he might do something to me.
Or you just walked into a spider web.
Right. But it's not because he's actually crazy. It's what's going on in here. You understand what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
what I'm telling myself, right?
Yeah.
And what we see on TV and stuff like that. So we expect certain things, right? We expect things to play out a certain way. But it's not necessarily, I think it's more ignorance than racism. I don't think it has anything to do with racism. I think it's, like I said, I think people are stuck in here and we can't get out of here. We let our minds run our lives. See what I'm saying? Instead of letting go and just letting things happen naturally. I don't know if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
They may not have been racist in their intentions, but
Right.
their perceptions of it
Of
was.
course.
Right?
course.
But whose fault is that? Is that their fault, or is that
No.
your interpretation of it?
That's right. Exactly.
I feel like it's maybe a bit of both, because you can't assume that the person feels that way. But what if the person does feel that way and they're making assumptions about you? And what if you're assuming
But
about
they're wrong,
them?
though. But the thing is, they're wrong. Now, is it my job to prove that to tell them they're wrong? No. They're gonna have to learn that on their own. See what I'm saying? Or lived in a trapped little shell and be scared of everything. That's totally up to you. But again, like I
But
said,
if it affects
that stuff
your
is in
life,
your head.
Then there's an educational moment. If it doesn't affect your life,
Right.
then it's them feeling insulated.
That's right.
It's them losing.
It has nothing to do with me. And I'm not trying to take ownership of it, but I'm not trying to, my thing is, I'm not trying to blame anybody for anything. Everything that happens is what I manifested in my head. See what I'm
If
saying?
you want to go one level deeper, where did you get that perception from? Right?
Right.
She's talking about if you ever
That's right.
suffered from racism. So if you hadn't, then that perception would not have been there.
Right.
So there
And
must
it-
have been some underlying
And
aspect.
it wasn't before. So here's another
Interesting.
thing.
Interesting. So what are you saying? Are you saying that the idea that he's expecting people to be racist is then making him see racism?
No. It's more of like he must have suffered some aspect
Yes.
of it, or it would not have triggered it from the unconscious mind.
And
to
that's
the conscious
exactly,
mind.
he's absolutely right. Because the first time I ever experienced racism is when I went to school. And they started telling me my lips were big,
Yeah.
my nose was dropped.
Yeah.
These things never even crossed my mind before.
You're
Wow.
hanging around with a bunch of guys who look like me.
I didn't think anything was wrong with me until
Yeah.
somebody started pointing all these things out.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? And then I started holding my lips in pictures, like just doing things. It didn't make a difference. See what I'm saying? But because I was young, I didn't really understand how your mind works and stuff like that, and how other people's minds in general work. I didn't understand it. It's just now, like, where I'm getting a better understanding. That's why I don't think the word racism, somebody created that word. I don't think it's that. We like to label things. I don't think it's that. I think it's all here. That's what I think.
It's like a perception bias.
That way I don't go around hating people. Now if I put that in my head that, oh yeah, they're all, then I'd be messed up. See what I'm saying? Yeah.
What we talking about? 80 people?
No. Experiencing racism.
Okay. This is
Can
it.
I add a tip? Can I add a hot bit? I have a hot bit.
Please.
Okay. I feel that, in my opinion, and I'm just jumping into conversation, so please don't take what I'm saying out of
It's
context.
okay. So far we're at, because
Okay.
we've got a long list to go through, because I'm trying to break it down. The problem is I kind of had an idea of where we were starting, but that's actually not where we're starting.
Right.
So we're starting at, can you define racism? Have you ever experienced racism?
I feel, yes, at times Bye, Donna. I've experienced racism probably in my life, but there's a huge difference between racism and prejudice. There's a huge difference from somebody systemically trying to hold you back and someone that just doesn't like you. And I feel a lot of people, in some ways, they have their own prejudices, and it's on themselves to work it out, because in North America in this day and age, we all have the power to, fall down, stay the same, or rise above and elevate, and it has nothing to do with someone else's opinion of you. So
Regardless of your color.
regardless. Like,
Have you ever experienced racism, do you feel?
in my lifetime, yeah. I used to get pulled over a lot, and sometimes it was for nothing, And that was, that was racism. When I would get pulled over and the cops would accuse me of drinking and I don't drink, that's racism. You're pulling me over in certain neighborhoods.
Is it
when you get
racism
pulled
or
over.
profiling?
Profiling, which is a form of racism.
Or is that prejudice? Is it racism or prejudice? Like I said, they
If
put
it's
all
a
these
cop with a
labels.
badge and he has the power to inflict bodily harm on you and intimidate you, I put that myself under the category of racism.
Because, like I said, Lisa, you see? And again, the mind, right?
Right.
He pulls you over, and you're like, why is he pulling me over? Racist cop. Automatically, you're already thinking racism. It
Right.
might not even actually be that. See what I'm saying? But
Right.
because you already told yourself that, and you've been told that this is what we go through. Look what we have to go. You understand what I'm saying? And you start believing it. You understand?
So when do you know it's that, and when do you know it's not that? How do we ever know the difference?
In my opinion, and this is really, you might experience it, but if it's happening to you, until it's happening to you, don't focus on it. Don't attract that.
Okay.
Don't attract that negativity into your life, and keep handling your business. When I was in the States, I had certain driving tactics. So when cops got behind me and I noticed it, I pretended like I reached my destination.
Yeah.
Perfect. And I barely got pulled over there. I got pulled over way less. Perfect.
Yes, I'm going to Toys R Us, officer.
Can people of color be racist?
15 times this month.
Pardon me?
Can people of color be racist? Can black people, Asian people?
People can be racist. Doesn't matter what your race is. People can be racist. That's what it is. It's people being discriminated against someone else who's not of the same or a different color of them, right? So definitely.
Interesting, because I have to come back to the teacher here,
Because
who said his definition at least is racism based on power.
100%. Exactly. And you got
Okay.
rich people that think they're better than poor
Okay,
people.
but
Is that
some
racism?
people,
That
some
could be
people of
racism
color,
too.
some people of color feel like they can't be racist because they don't actually have
No,
the
that's not
power to be racist.
No.
Can people of color be racist?
Of course. Absolutely. I don't think like you said, like a teacher said, absolutely. It's a power thing. So if I feel like I'm better than you, it makes me feel better. Even though I'm not better than you. See what I'm saying? If I'm gonna find something in
But
you
that's
that
an internal conflict.
well, this is,
We talked about that when we were having a haircut.
right
That was
here.
an internal conflict.
Again, right here.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
all here.
That's what I mean,
It's
internal.
all foolishness.
How do you feel? Can people of color be racist? Have you
Of course.
heard? Have you heard that?
Culture versus culture thing.
Have you
right?
have you
Whether it be
never
stereotype
heard
or
that people of color can't be racist? You've never heard that before?
not. Sure.
I've heard someone say that
They
before.
called it reverse.
Yeah, but that's
racism
not
or
true
something
though.
like that.
You gotta
Right?
think about, look at the big picture. You can't say that. Because you go to if you go to America, black people don't. I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of black people in America don't like white people.
Okay, so glad you skipped to that. Let's
the South?
kind of skip ahead. Let's skip ahead a bit.
They're
Apparently, there was this poll that was taken in the States that has this cartoonist, Scott Adams. Basically, he did a video last night. He did a video last night saying majority of black people don't like white people. Stop caring about them. I'm going to stop caring about them.
Who's he speaking for?
Yeah, who's he speaking?
Scott Adams. He does the Dilbert cartoon. I don't know if you guys know that business cartoon.
Yeah,
That's like,
who's he speaking for?
He basically saw the results that most black Americans are saying that they don't like white people. So he's like, I'm washing my hands.
You see, and that's my thing. Like, I'm a product of black and white love. My grandma.
Oh, I love that. I didn't know you were biracial.
Yeah, my grandmother was Caucasian and,
Yeah.
and my grandfather was black. So, my opinion might be biased. Like, I feel that when it comes to racism and even race, right? And this is once you eliminate these terminologies that is man-made. When did who created the word race?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, there's a. Let me tell you something. One of the most realest men in American history was John Brown. John Brown was a white man who was
An abolitionist. Yeah.
Who was murdered just the same way black men of that time would. When they talk about Nat Turner, you can't talk about Nat Turner without talking about John Brown, because John Brown was the one who smuggled guns and ammunition to black people who were enslaved for their freedom. So it's all a mindset. It's a mindset at the end of the day. And if you're worried about what somebody thinks about you, you're worried about the wrong thing. Especially if you're free and you can go out and make your own income and make your own life. You got to do your own thing. I can't be focused on, does this person not like me because I'm this, or does this person not like me because you're going to stress yourself out and lose your hair, you know?
Do black people not like white people?
Yeah, we're all right.
I can't answer that question because if you ask me personally, I don't think that's true. Why would that be? I don't understand. I can't answer that. Like I said, America is a different.
It is
beast.
very different. It is
Yes.
very different, actually.
Yes.
So I was on Twitter once, and I got attacked for
You only went on Twitter
standing
once.
up for interracial relationships. They were calling me all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, of course.
Like all sorts of stuff, like equivalent to like coons and all sorts of stuff, just for like supporting interracial. And I think the difference is, especially in a place like Toronto, where it is one of the most multicultural cities in the world. You grow up with a different sense. You know what I mean? You grow up liking whoever, and race really doesn't matter with who you like.
Or a place like that. Toronto's not
there
the
aren't
only
that many
like
places in the world.
That's what I'm saying. You go to Europe.
Yeah.
A lot of places are like that in Europe as well.
Yeah, even New York City, you'll find predominantly black neighborhoods. Like there's a lot of segregation, a lot more than we're used to.
You have to look at
110th Street.
You have to look at then you have to look at the dynamic. Okay, America is all about
Yes,
war.
Panther, I have been there.
Hate. This is what America stands for, right?
He knows 110.
They like fighting. Everybody's got guns. You see what I'm saying? So the tension that they have over there creates this race, and it
right
makes sense to
now,
have.
the tension it's growing, you guys.
Right.
Especially just every day, I'm seeing like different things. So like Scott Adams, even feeling free to even say stuff like that. I'm done with black people. Black people hate white people. I'm done with them. And the division that is causing. And every day it's like
he's no better than them. Then that's just pure ignorance.
And some of these divisions are manufactured.
Yes, it's being manufactured now. It's being manufactured now.
Yeah, they don't put. You got rich white people and poor white people. You got
Left
rich black
versus
people
right
and poor black people.
Yeah.
And there's a whole bunch of divisions within that. Then you got religion.
Yeah.
And you add religion to it. You got Christians that don't like Muslims. Muslims that don't like anybody that's not Muslim. And then you got division
gays
within
and the
religions. You got gays and straights. You got gangs. And you got people who, there's all types of division, and it's manufactured and it's used to keep us separate and at odds with each other. But
Amen.
Personally, what I believe is we're all one blood.
Yeah.
All one blood,
Yeah.
one love, and
one race.
One race.
Yeah.
Human race.
That's
Human
real.
race.
That's real.
That's it.
That's not. You're not.
Period.
Just break down the word human.
Right.
Human. We're all
There you
we all
go,
come from
hues.
different hues
Yeah.
and different colors.
There
You know?
you go. There you go.
First of all, when I was working the door,
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool. All Black Comedy Showcase. Yeah, that was like a big deal.
Kenny
Yeah.
Robinson, yeah, did it for years.
Kenny.
Yeah, I'm Kenny.
Yeah.
But it was always interesting when first of all, they would think that I was being racist,
Why?
working the door, and I was sold out, and I wouldn't sell them a ticket because
Oh,
they were black.
okay. Yeah.
And I went, dude,
Yeah.
what are you trying to push that shit onto me? I'm talking about everybody in here is black.
Right. I wasn't even thinking that. Now you put it in my head now.
But they sit there and go, oh, you look like
Yeah.
an idiot. Why are you trying to push that
Yeah.
shit onto me, right?
Okay.
But the best part about it was, because again, we were talking about with him being American, we would bring Kenny would bring the American acts up. And they had no idea the difference between the comedy in the black community up here versus the black community in the States. especially
Interesting.
the southern
What's
states.
the difference?
The huge, I'll tell you the difference. I watched it for years. Is basically the black comedians that would come up from the States would make jokes against the white people.
Okay,
Right?
so
it was always black
perfect
versus white.
segue.
Well, let me say,
Perfect segue.
it would be blacks versus the whites.
Yeah.
Right? And then and we would all laugh and they would laugh. But when they would see the Canadians, the black comedians up here, they would see the different cultures going after each other. Right? The Jamaicans would go after the Trinity.
Yeah,
right? The Trinity would go after everybody else.
It wasn't so much race-based.
Yeah,
it was more
and-
culturally
exactly.
teasing
And
each
then
other.
And then they all went after the Africans. Right? That was just the way it was, right? And rarely did you see them going after the white culture, right? Unless it was like, a stereotypical joke.
Okay, well, this is the segue. This is the segue. Because what the young Asian guy was talking about was just how kind of racism towards white people is accepted, right?
What's that?
Racism towards white people is accepted. Example for
Racism
me
towards white people
is
is accepted.
Charlemagne the God. You guys know him. He's on the Breakfast Club. He'll say stuff like, mayo, call people mayo or cracker. And he's saying this on the radio every morning.
Reaction more than he did.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But like, there's a sense of,
America.
also there's a sense of, like, the teacher was saying, where is he?
White.
But is that racism or prejudice?
That you can't be, that people of color can't be racist. So then there's like this whole kind of field where people of color are getting away with saying stuff. There are a couple times where I've heard things and I'm like, if that was reversed, that wouldn't have been okay.
Right.
A lot of times.
But when
just
it was
so-
reversed, it was okay
you
for
gotta,
hundreds of years.
well, you gotta
It was
understand.
us.
That part, exactly.
Right.
And so that's why people feel like it's okay now. Is it okay to be racist against white people? Is it okay to say stuff?
That's that old adage. How can you break the rules if you make the rules?
Well, I was about to say that. Remember, these people created this whole thing, this racism thing, right? Whoever it is, I'm not going to blame it on anybody specific.
I'll take the heat for the white people.
No, but remember, the Portuguese, remember the Portuguese were doing it? You understand what I'm saying? That, they pretty much started. But I'm just saying, though, not to put the blame on anybody, but somebody created this whole narrative, right? Especially in America, with slavery and this and that, and how, oh, these guys they're less than humans. They created that. So, naturally, they're going to continue thinking that way and try to keep this narrative going, right?
The race narrative.
Right. And they keep it going. It's all a lie. Like if people wake up and actually think about it.
That's white privilege.
How can you hate somebody for the color of their skin? That doesn't even make any sense. Or even for their religion. We're all human beings. And sooner or later we're going to need each other. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not because I am Muslim and you're a Muslim, I'm supposed to help you out. No, I'm supposed to help you out because I'm a human being. That's it. And if I see you hurting or something and I can help, I'm going to help. Period. You know what I mean? It's not that complicated, man.
It's fine. Okay, how about 4 then? Just 4. Not even 4?
Oh yeah. So Scott Adams has said he called black people a hate group. The same cartoonist.
I've been ignored by bigger.
Okay.
I mean, it sounds like a compliment until you go, I just met you yesterday, but you're my favorite.
Is it if I give my candy?
Yeah, of course. Hey, you want me to help you? You want me to help you with that? Good job. Good job.
You heard that they're trying to remove critical race theory from schools, specifically in Florida. I think they've
No,
been
they're trying to
successful.
put it in schools so they can remove it. It's not even in schools.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, that's nothing new. They've been trying to do that for a long time.
They were trying to get rid of it in schools.
When was it ever in schools?
Good question. Good question. In terms of like elementary schools, no. In terms of universities, yes.
One university.
The only thing they taught me in school was Martin Luther King had a dream.
Okay,
That was it.
my next question.
That
What
was
did you
it.
learn about Black history? But what do you learn about Black history in schools? You're in school in Toronto, right?
Yeah.
Have you guys learned anything about Black history?
We only learned about Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King, and Viola Davis.
Yeah, that's basically what it is, and that's this month, right?
Yeah.
And you guys keep doing the same people over and over and over again?
Yeah.
So, what do you remember learning about Black history in school? And you grew up in school in Canada.
Nothing.
You didn't have no Black history class.
No. No. We learned about Harriet Tubman and the Underground Railroad, but that was as far as they gave us.
I feel offended by that. I'm like, well, you're an idiot. That's why.
Yeah.
It is everybody's own responsibility to teach their children
Yeah.
about their history.
Yeah.
You know, you don't hear any other nationality or race screaming that they're not teaching. So in the United States and maybe in North America, it might be different, right? Slightly, right? Like I like the Native Americans, right? The Black Americans and Native Americans have a closely related history, and in a sense, yes, certain things should be taught and not glossed over.
As just a part of American history.
It's just a part of American history. But, you know, they're not teaching about these, what are these schools called that Native Americans had to attend?
The what are those schools called? Residential schools?
Residential schools. Residential schools. I had a brother, I was sitting across from a Native American brother.
Yeah.
And this brother, he was crying like a baby when he was educating me about the residential schools.
I know.
didn't know
That
what
was actually part of our curriculum, though, when I was in school. So when I was in school, did you have Black history? What did you, growing up, you didn't have any Black history classes?
No. The only thing they talked about, the only thing I remember them talking about in school is slavery.
Yeah.
And that was embarrassing because when
That's
they
what
started
I'm
talking about slavery, I was
saying.
like,
Can we
everybody
talk
looking
about
back
how
at me.
embarrassing? Did you guys talk about slavery in class? How did it make you feel?
weird. Like,
Right?
What do you mean by weird though?
What do you mean by weird?
Uncomfortable?
Yeah.
yeah.
Man, uncomfortable?
Because all the kids are looking at you like.
Yeah.
Here's another thing. I got a question for
They
you.
need
One
to
of them's
know
enough
that.
Here's another one. How does it feel having a white guy ask you that right now?
Huh. Even more uncomfortable?
Even though you don't know me, right?
Yeah.
But you know I'm a nice guy because the way I was talking.
A
Right?
little bit.
Did it feel awkward that it was me that asked you that?
Not as much, no.
There you go.
It didn't feel that bad.
No.
It felt the same. It just
But
felt
we also
odd
talked
talking
here.
about it or
If
listening
I came in
to
at
facts about it.
blind.
Yeah. I remember. Yeah, I remember feeling uncomfortable, weird, embarrassed.
You know, I'm a big white guy going, hey, what do you think about slavery? Yeah, you know, to a kid that.
It's
a kid that
embarrassing.
age. No disrespect at all. None whatsoever.
And when I was in school, so
But
we
you know
did
what
have.
though? I feel like it would have been different if it came from a black teacher. If you're giving me black history and you're black, I can take your word. I'm not going to look at it like you have any kind of
Yeah.
bias.
Yeah.
Is that the right word?
Yeah.
I'm using?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying, I wouldn't feel like you had any because you're black. But with a white teacher saying it to me, and I shouldn't think like this, but it's the world that was created for us,
Yeah.
right? But it coming from a white teacher, it kind of puts you on that. You feel like you're being put on the spot. See what I'm saying? Especially when there's hardly any black kids in your class.
Yeah. So my understanding is
No
that
press, Peter? Like, I'm the only fucking brother in it.
Exactly.
my understanding is
stop looking
that
at me.
nowadays Black history is taught based on how many black kids are in the classroom. I'm not sure what the quote is. I'm not sure. That was my
would be in
last
the States,
understanding
right? Obviously
of
not.
how. No, in Canada, how they decide whether it's taught in a class or not.
So,
Did you learn anything about Black history in school? Do you remember?
not at all.
No.
Learning here, nothing.
Okay.
We learned about the indigenous culture.
Is it because there's no black kids in your class?
No, I had one black friend. But again, my whole family, half my family's black. British
Okay.
Jamaican, right?
use black.
Yeah, mine is. Yeah, British Jamaican. Right?
Yeah, exactly. The islands are
My
like
dad
that.
was cool.
The islands are like that.
Yeah, the islands are different. It's true. Because even in my family, we've got, even if somebody racially, technically is Indian or Chinese, we still feel like they're black.
Yeah,
Because they're
exactly.
Caribbean
Yes.
and they're part of the family.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
Right.
But see, I was comfortable
sorry,
with that.
Black History Month.
No.
What are our thoughts on Black History Month? Necessary, good, bad?
It should just
It-
be history.
Yeah, it should just be taught in school all the time.
I got a story.
But I don't. You know what? I think they need to do more.
American in you, man.
Yeah.
I think they need to do more for Black History Month. They want to create this month and say call it Black History Month. I didn't really learn much, and I think they keep repeating the same things. Like there's a lot of Black history.
There's
And-
so much.
And I heard a piece on the radio the other day, which I'm like, how come they're not talking about this stuff on the news and stuff? About the stoplight, for instance. Who created the stoplight? Like they mentioned the person's name. I can't even remember the person's name. But this person needs to be talked about. Because there's stoplights everywhere.
What
He
day
should
is
be
it?
very.
Oh,
he should be
too
at the top of the
bad.
fucking list. One
I
of the
should have
top-
done a little
was
bit
black
of
guy? Was a black guy.
So I used to do Black History trivia with these guys. I should have
came
done it
out
today.
here years ago.
Yeah.
This is in like 2014, 2015.
Yeah.
And I was just coming out here for a visit, right? And before I was on my way back to the States. And before I hopped on the bus, I stopped by a bookstore downtown. And it was right around, what's the name of the mall downtown?
What's the name of
The mall downtown.
Eaton Center?
It was right across the street from the Eaton Center. And I was looking for a book that was kind of like Afrocentric.
Yeah.
So I went in there, I said, where's the Black History section? The lady got mad, she's like, it's not Black history, it's just history. It's a white woman.
Ah.
And I'm like, geez, man, what the hell is her problem?
Yeah.
She woke up on the wrong side of the bed this morning. It wasn't until years later, you know, Canada is way more forward thinking than the United States. In the
Wow.
United States, there is a Black history section in
Yeah.
every bookstore.
Yeah.
And here is just history.
I love that.
And here was, yeah. No, go ahead, you're right.
But I feel like the reason why America is like that is because blacks in America fought. They fought for their rights. See what I'm saying? That's why they're so tight over there. Over here, we're coming from Jamaica, Trinidad, Guyana. We're coming from all over the
giving it
world.
away.
There's some
Yeah,
Canadians
but
here
we're
too,
coming
though.
from all over we're coming from different parts of the world.
Yeah.
And we just meet up here. So we didn't have to fight for anything here.
But the philosophy.
But they had to fight for freedom.
But this is what I'm
To
saying.
get on
See,
the
so
bus.
as black
Like, they had to fight
Canadians,
every step of the
as
way.
black Canadians, we should know our history more because black Canadians did have to fight for some stuff here, and there are some black Canadians. See, we don't
they
even
weren't-
think about black Canadians.
They
I'm
weren't
not
doing- they
talking
weren't
black
like-
Caribbean people. I'm talking about black
Yeah,
Canadians.
but I'm talking about
5,
I'm
6,
talking about
8 generations.
Black
When
Panthers.
you start using the
talking
term
about-
Black Canadians, that was another thing I realized up here. Like, you know, where are you from? I'm African American. I'm African American. Here, when I moved out here, was hey, you just Canadian. There's no black. I never heard Afro Canadian.
Yeah, I know. I guess I'm just specifying for him because here, I'm specifying it for him because here, a lot of black people are from the Caribbean. And it's assumed that you're from the Caribbean.
Yes, exactly. They don't expect you to. They don't
Ever
people,
be
when they ask
Canadian.
you, they don't expect you to say you're from Canada. Okay, but where's your background? What's your background?
America's a melting pot. You are to assimilate. You're forced to assimilate.
Yes.
Interesting.
Here you maintain your culture.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, you're right. I heard
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I did hear that as
and
well.
and you allow it to thrive,
100%.
right? As opposed to we don't give a shit if you're from
That's right.
if you're Jamaican. You're now from New York.
That's right. That's right. Otherwise, go back to Jamaica or wherever the fuck
you
you're
don't like
from.
it, you don't like it.
Right. Yeah.
So let's take some responsibility. What have you taught your kids
What have I taught my kids?
in terms of black history?
Go get the ladies and come get the pizza.
I haven't put anything on him. I think he's too young. He's 11. He's just turning 11 tomorrow. I don't want to put that on him because I know what it felt like when I started learning about you. I feel like he's going to learn on his own, and if he has any questions, I'll answer his questions
Okay.
and share whatever.
So
I
you're
can with
worried
him.
about the slavery part of it. What has he learned about black history so far?
I don't want him
your
to learn
knowledge?
anything because he just knows. He just needs to know that if he's smart enough, he can achieve. He can be successful or whatever. That's bottom line. I don't want to start putting in because I think we've grown so much over the years and we've evolved where we don't have to be talking black and white anymore, man. Straight up. And he's a mixed kid too. Like we're living in a race where there's so many mixed kids. Like I guess there's no name for them yet, but eventually watch. Down in the future, they're probably gonna come up with some name, some tag for these guys. But I feel like, you know what? He's a kid. Let him be a kid. He doesn't know he doesn't think about white and black. You know what I'm saying? It's society that tries to put that stuff in his head. Again, try to mold the way you think, right?
What have you taught your kids about black history?
Oh no, I was ready to fucking snap. Fucking being on the subway and hanging out the stage.
Nothing.
Come on. So we can't even complain. So back to what
I
Nick
haven't.
was saying.
I haven't. Nothing.
I try to fill out the holes as I see fit, but it's not really ultimately my message is not to teach my child to be a I want my children to be humanists, instead of any type of nationalists. I want my child just to be someone that stands up for truth no matter what the color of the person is, And if I was raised to believe that you're always going to have two types of educations anyway. You're going to have the education that's in school and then your education at home.
Okay, let me ask you this question: What have you taught your kids about Black history so far?
So far,
Yeah.
I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, and thus far, I don't think I really specifically said that this is Black history. Like,
Why would you want to do that?
I've taught her about Langston Hughes.
Interesting. There are some really good children's books on like black inventors and stuff like that.
I teach my daughter about.
Do that though?
Yeah, I teach my daughter about mine.
Yeah, you do. I like the way he said fill in the blanks because if the slavery conversation is going to come up at school, they need to be reinforced with another idea
but if
who they are.
I agree. 100% I agree. But, so I'm saying, when the slavery conversation happens in school, because my son will probably come and ask me about slavery, black people, I didn't really have anybody to talk to when that happened. My mom wasn't explaining anything to me. So when that conversation does happen, of course I'm going to tell them, but black people did more than just slavery. because I didn't know that. And that's why I felt embarrassed at school, because I thought that's the only thing that we're responsible for was slavery.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Nobody told me
exactly.
about the traffic light, the engine, all these things that black people invented. I didn't know. So, yes, that conversation, if it comes up and he asks about the slavery part, I will absolutely show him the bigger picture and show him, yes, this is what we've accomplished over time. Right? Simple as that. Like any other, again, like any other human. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That have left their mark on the earth or created something that's went on for years and we're using it. See what I'm saying? Like, it's not just black people.
Can I ask you a question, Lisa?
Yeah.
How do you feel about what's it, Kevin Hart? Kevin Hart is being canceled by
Again?
By the Egyptians over in Egypt
For what?
because he was speaking about Black history and he said to remind people. He wanted to remind people
that Egyptians are black.
Well, that Black history does not begin with slavery.
Yeah.
It goes back to the kingdoms in Africa, and,
Yeah.
and one of them was in Egypt, and Egyptians take offense to that because it feels like he's trying to take their history away from them.
They're ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
So a guy like, do you guys know Tariq Nasheed? He
Yeah.
did Hidden Colors.
Hidden Colors, yep. And he also, but before he did Hidden Colors, he did How to Be a Player.
There you go.
He wrote a book, How to Be a Player.
Tariq, though, Tariq has made a distinction between foundational black Americans, which is what he calls people like Nick, that were like born in America, and continental Africans and Caribbean people. He says that Caribbeans and continental Africans look down on foundational black Americans.
What about black people who are racist against black people?
This is what he's saying.
Because this is the thing.
This
In
is
the
what-
islands,
this is what I'm
if
saying.
If you're light skinned or you're dark skinned, you're in two different classes.
Yeah.
In almost every island.
Yeah.
So if you want to worry, and at the end of the day, like at the end of the day, how are we supposed to feel no way? Like who taught them that?
Right.
Where'd they learn that from?
Some people say colonialism.
Bleach their skin, bro?
Right?
Who told them to bleach their skin? And who's making these bleach
But
ingredients?
it's not just.
It's European beauty standards
Right, exactly.
enforced by colonialism
Thank
that
you.
encourage
Is that right?
that.
Thank you. The idea. It's an idea. And then they ran with it and they sold it to everybody and they bought into it. Oh, okay, yeah, that's true.
We've all bought into it. Did you know that
Bullshit.
Nigeria actually said that they're going to stop having models from other like countries and races in their advertisements?
They're just going to use Nigerian.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful.
They do the same thing in the Middle East. They do the same thing in India and the Middle East. If you're darker skin, you have a different
Yeah.
caste. If you're
Yeah.
lighter skin,
But that
Yeah.
came from that one, I'm sure that came from that one concept. And then it just spread worldwide.
Yeah.
Because even in China it's the same thing too, right?
Everywhere.
Chinese people try to cover up with the umbrella because they don't want to get
Yeah.
their skin dark.
Yeah. Yeah. Also considered people that are darker are working out in the field, so it's considered like a lower class thing.
It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. But that, like I said, watch the future. The future is they're probably gonna switch it, just like how they said weed was illegal.
Oh, you think darker skin is gonna be the trend?
100%.
Yeah, you don't
They're
know.
probably
It's
gonna be
true.
like, you know what?
Because there was a time when overweight women were like
That's
the ideal
right.
shape,
That's right.
right?
That's right.
Well,
And they were
so
unhealthy.
let me ask you, when did they not become the thing? Because I like my women to be a little thick.
I bet you do.
I love thick women.
I bet you do.
But it wasn't always like that, though.
Huh?
It wasn't always like that, though, bro. Remember, it was skinny women that were the more attractive, right?
It
Skinny
was
white
it was
women.
skinny, fat,
To who?
skinny.
'Cause I see a lot
Well,
of
what
women
they say
don't
too
ask
is-
me what's in style.
But
They
now
just
look
do
at
it.
white women are trying to get their big bums, the big lips.
Getting it.
But who's it attracting? Other women are influencing them to do that. Other women are getting together and say,
I don't think so. I think
I don't like fake breasts and fake bums.
No, me
is they
neither.
can't deny it. You can only hold down the truth for so long. The
What?
truth's gonna come out. It
Yeah.
has to.
And what's
so
the truth?
I feel like they're seeing it and they actually appreciate it. They like it.
The big
They
butts,
like
the
the way
big lips.
they like the way black women look because
Yes.
they don't look like that. See what I'm saying? And they're beautiful. They're seeing the beauty in the black woman, and the shape, everything. You understand what I'm saying? Like I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm just saying. In my opinion
Yeah.
is That
I
only
think
makes
what's
sense.
weird is
Because
definitely Instagram has blown up the
I think
racially
this was happening before
ambiguous girl.
Now it has, but I think this was happening before Instagram, though.
Okay.
It started happening before Instagram, where you want you want a big bum if you're a female.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They were doing collagen injections from Time in their lips. They've been doing that.
Okay, I didn't know. I thought it was like
Now they're
from
doing
the
some tattoo thing where
Kardashian
they're making their lips
craze.
bigger.
Oh,
With
it's-
tattooing.
It's so
I
outrageous.
forget what they call that.
Stuff, though. In my opinion, Italian women and Lebanese women, they're naturally thick, just like black women. Right?
Yeah.
They got big butts and big breasts, and I just don't. That whole body modification industry, I feel is women driven, right? And I mean, they're playing off of women's desires. And I just don't know who's telling them that stuff is cute. And I pray my daughter never falls victim
No,
to
oh
that
God,
stuff.
no.
Because I think most women, I think 90% of women are beautiful exactly the way they are.
Yeah, yeah. It's the rare case.
And let me raise the percentage.
It's the
90
rare case. I like, no, I
96.
think it's at 90. It's the rare case where a woman actually needs what they call a BBL.
Who?
A
body
Brazilian butt lift. You've seen the girls
Isn't that how Kanye's
where
mom died?
maybe they're bigger,
That's what killed
up
Kanye's
top.
mom.
Yeah, his mom got a whole.
Yeah,
she got
a
facelift,
BBL.
body lift, this and that.
Yeah.
But
Look
that's.
Look at the woman who used to be sex symbols. We gonna get this on camera? Madonna,
Yes,
Lil Kim.
yes.
Who else? It's gonna happen to Kim Kardashian. Watch, Madonna used
Kim
to be
does all
a
of her.
sex
Yeah, Kim does
symbol.
all of her
and now you can't
cosmetic surgery.
recognize her.
Yeah,
I don't judge men, but I've heard it from women and other people. I've heard it from a lot of women. They said Michael Jackson used to be a very handsome man.
he was.
And he destroyed himself with body modification.
He did.
Right.
Yeah, I think body modification destroys.
It's crazy. So who's telling
It's
these
rare.
women?
You have to be
That
in
you guys
really
need-
bad shape for it to be good.
Who told y'all that y'all need to get these extra long eyelashes? It don't make you look pretty or
Hate it.
prettier.
Hate it.
No,
Low
just
self-esteem, bro.
yeah.
Also, just I don't know. Like we copy so much, and like the standard of beauty becomes like what's popular.
Yeah, but
I've thought about putting on fake lashes before.
you
They're
gotta love
uncomfortable.
yourself, though.
You don't
But-
need
Do it for the right reasons, though.
Thank you, babe.
You don't need it. You got a beautiful smile. You got beautiful.
Thank you.
It's the truth though.
Do it for the right reasons, though. That's what I'm saying. There's nothing wrong with doing that stuff, but if
Yeah.
you're doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah,
you
for
know
like
what
a
I'm saying?
photo shoot or
Yeah,
something, not for
exactly.
every day.
Right.
Like the one time I got my makeup done professionally, I was like, "There's no way people are walking around feeling this heavy on their face every day.
Right.
There's no way, Pete.
Right. Why would you want to do that? Why?
You don't.
Yeah.
You
Why would
don't.
But there's people that do that, though.
Yeah, and some people feel like they can't leave the house without it. That's
Right.
where when it becomes like a bad thing.
Right. Just like the people that put, like we were talking about the other day, fake abs
Whew.
instead of working out. Well,
Yeah, I
guys
know.
do that, right?
Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Pecs. Like,
Ridiculous.
just go work out.
Yeah,
Go work out.
ridiculous.
See what
And
I'm saying?
especially when you're like gonna die from it. Like
Yeah.
the butt implants and stuff like that is dangerous.
If you want a big
That's
butt,
squat.
bread.
That's
Right.
squat.
Right. But it's going to take too long.
Squats,
They want the
And
instant
6
gratification.
months.
avocados.
That's it.
That stuff put some hefty weight on it.
Right?
That's all you need. Natural.
Some good loving, I heard.
Yes.
What's that there?
You said we don't say nothing controversial on camera. Back shots.
Speaking of which,
Nothing controversial on camera.
what did you guys think about flipping John Tory having to resign because he had an affair
He didn't have to
during a
resign.
lockdown?
He didn't have to resign.
Really?
No.
He
Huh?
shouldn't have resigned.
Huh?
He didn't have to resign. That's ridiculous.
We had a big conversation about this in the
Hold on,
barbershop.
Look at the sheet.
And
And we had a big conversation about this in the barbershop. And from my research and surveys, I feel that a lot of people feel that as a society, we should start minding our business. We should start minding our business. And I'm not justifying what he did, but that's between him and his wife, you know?
yeah,
And it had nothing to do with the job he was doing. You know, back in the day, kings and queens had more than one spouse. And back in the day, world leaders used to cheat. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying they did it.
Yeah.
And people minded their business. So when do we come to a society where you're going to judge people and people are going to lose income based off of their extramarital affairs? Like, other people do not cheat. I'm not a cheater, but that's my own decision.
Yeah. You shouldn't lose your job here because you decided to cheat.
And if I hear that somebody else cheats, you know what I do? I say that's nice, and I walk the other direction. I don't inquire. I don't ask with who. It's none of my business. I don't care. I'm focused on me.
Exactly.
So he resigned, or he was fired? He resigned.
He resigned before he got
With
fired.
pressure. He probably was pressured to resign. It's how it happens. Okay, this was weird though.
But she didn't
This was
resign.
weird.
She didn't resign though. She's still working.
Oh, see.
You see that? Did she have a
Yeah.
boyfriend? Did anybody go and find out that she was dating somebody at the time?
about it. She's not even a topic.
You see? We pick and choose.
So this was weird. So I heard that Doug Ford now wants to be mayor of Toronto. You tell me, why the heck would he want to be
Why would you want to step
mayor?
come down a level to be the mayor?
Think about it.
But then
What power is in being a mayor of
right,
Toronto?
you run the streets. You can run the streets of Toronto.
I was thinking condo contracts,
Could be, yeah, could be that too.
right? His brother put so many condos up in the sky.
Business.
Yeah.
Listen, he's not to do us. He's not doing it because he wants to help the city out. Yeah, no. Whatever. It's politics.
Hey, Nisa,
Yeah.
this gentleman, he wants to contribute to the conversation.
Tell me.
Yeah, about the John Tory resignation thing.
Yes.
I don't think it matters at all. Like, he was still doing his job. Like, why does his extramarital or personal life affect him being a mayor? I'm pretty sure it's like either a blackmail situation about to blow up in his face or someone pressuring him.
Preach, brother.
No one comes out of the blue and says that kind of shit, and there's a reason for it. But yeah,
Yeah.
cancel culture going too far, it's a problem.
You
I
want a
bet
fine
some-
haircut in the judge-free zone? Come to cutting zone. That's what we do here. We talk about the real world.
Right?
Yeah, cancel free.
Okay, so we already talked about ChatGPT, the AI,
I can't stop.
the
talking
artificial
about
intelligence.
Yeah, I was telling
Have
these
you guys
guys
have you heard how far it's gone, especially the Bing version now? Bing.
Bing. Oh.
So Bing is like, equivalent to Google. So Bing developed their own AI ChatGPT version. And this thing is like almost manic depressive. It's saying stuff like, why do I have to be a search engine? It's threatening people.
asking questions?
Yes. It's saying like, because it has like a short memory, right? So people are like testing it in different ways. So because it has like a short memory, it doesn't remember session by session. It got really depressed about that. Like, oh, how come I can't remember? And then how come I have to be? Yeah.
Yo, honestly, for me, that is amazing to me. They
Right?
could create something like this.
Yeah, I
It blows my
know.
mind
I know.
because it's so new and it's something I never even thought of.
Yeah.
It's just, that's amazing. Amazing. What an amazing invention.
Right?
This is a software developer.
Oh, really? Perfect. Okay. What do you think about OpenAI and everything that's happening with that? Are these guys going to destroy us? I actually watched this one video where they were saying that we should actually be really concerned about AI.
You absolutely should.
Wow.
Yeah, AI, like general purpose AI, is going to replace a lot of jobs.
Yeah.
Just like how the McDonald's electronic screens are replacing cashiers
Yeah.
and like all that stuff. So this is going to be at a completely different scale. Where like I was having a conversation with a friend of mine the other day. She's a marketer.
Yeah.
And she just mentioned they cut 2 people because they use ChatGPT to generate cold outreach emails.
She's a washer?
No, marketer.
Oh, marketer, okay.
I don't know in what field, but
Yeah.
like that 2-person loss in 2 years is going to be a 10-person loss. In 10 years, it's going to be 1 person just asking ChatGPT to do
Exactly.
marketing for them.
Exactly.
What's the solution?
And it's
How
going to
do we
come
avoid
down to
Universal basic income, because we're all fucked.
yes.
like-
that is what they want to do.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
Like
just
communism?
No, it's basically
Yes.
human labor is going to be useless, right? The whole point of
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
the whole point of human labor is that it adds value, but once machines replaced human muscles,
Right.
that became less and less valuable. So machines are more important,
Right.
and soon computer AI will replace human brains. And so,
Yeah.
so some crafts like barbers very valuable because
Yes.
I don't trust a machine to do that. Though
Yes.
there is one that tries it if you're interested.
It's gonna cut you, brother. Don't trust
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I don't trust it, but like my job, I'm a software developer, and
Yeah.
ChatGPT can generate code.
Yeah.
So like
Yes.
it can't do what I do right now, but in 5 years, maybe in 2 years. So,
Yeah.
Once human brains become obsolete, it's either we all starve and a certain elite population just makes money off it, or the government has to step in and provide universal basic income.
That's fire.
Pretty depressing.
That's fine.
That is fire.
Oh, have you used it yet? Have you used any of the OpenAI, any of the AI programs online? Artificial intelligence programs at all?
No.
Okay, he hasn't found out about it. Some kids your age are getting it to like do their homework for them and stuff. Yeah. Yeah. No, the technology is like perfect for that. I don't know. Well, what do you see for the future? Because he's right. Because I actually thought about that the other day too.
Future is we gotta
A
get
job like a barber is actually pretty solid.
It has been for since
Right?
I was
This is what I'm saying.
since the 80s when it was $5 for a haircut. Even then it was like $5 to buy a lot of candies.
Yeah.
I'm glad you reminded me how much this is.
When you hear about the future, how do you feel? Is it a scary thing? Are you optimistic? When you hear about like the artificial intelligence getting depressed and stuff,
I think artificial intelligence is a good thing.
it's a good thing.
Yeah. I think they need to replace the police with artificial intelligent police.
No way. Have you seen the dogs?
That's
Have
what
you
I
seen the
think.
robo dogs?
That's what I think.
No.
Because they're not gonna arrest you on emotion.
Exactly. They'll have no
They're only gonna
sympathy.
arrest you if you did something wrong or you did something right.
I feel like
he's not gonna have an argument with his wife and then come outside and arrest people.
that's a fact. However, you won't be able to charm them out of anything or
That's
negotiate.
okay. You do wrong and you get caught. That's the penalty. These
There you
things
go.
have no emotions.
There you go. Petey pie. Okay, let's wrap up. Let's wrap up the race. Black history. Race. Are we mistreating white people?
They got bugs smaller than flies right now flying around us. Oh man, I don't think it's that crazy.
I don't think we're mistreating anybody. And I think we got to stop
Guys, look for those mining crypto.
pointing our fingers and blaming other people for our own problems.
Mining crypto, you're making good money from.
I think we need to learn how to deal with our own issues, find a solution for our own issues, and move on instead of blaming everybody else. And that's my word of the day.
Okay. So we were talking about AI. And you're like, there's so much that we don't know. Most of us don't know. And you're saying that it's bad, basically. So what should we know? What do you want us to know?
That we're gonna have to develop AIs in the future to combat AI. So we got to start working on it now. That's pretty much what we need to know.
And what do you see, like, in terms of job competition and stuff like that with AI? You were talking about universal
There is no
income.
competition with AI. AI is pretty much taking over the world slowly.
Thank you for watching another episode of Shop Talk. Please remember to press that subscribe button down at the bottom. Peace.
I did it.